This is Elton Kane for Finextra at Cybos, and I'm here with Mannie da Silva of Fiserv. Mannie, there's been a lot of talk at Cybos this year and previous years about real-time payments. It's developing apace, but what's the impact of real-time payments on payments fraud management?
Right, exactly. I think it's inevitable that the fact that the industry is now seriously looking at real-time payment, I think it's inevitable. I think that's what clients demand, and I think ultimately that's what financial institutions are looking to provide their customers. What that means from a fraud payment perspective really to us is the decisioning piece. So whenever we think about real-time, we're thinking about the ability to decision in real-time, to stop suspicious transactions, to stop activity that could pose a risk to the financial institution. So it's really about the ability to look at transactions in real time, but more importantly for the financial institution to actually take control, and in order to stop a payment or stop a transfer or stop any kind of non-monetary transaction that could lead to loss to the financial institution.
As part of real-time payments and more data being sent along with payments messages, there are opportunities for better customer behaviour analytics, for example. What's your view on this?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we all agree that the ability to do real-time decisioning is a good thing, but obviously it has a major impact. So this is where we really look at analytics to really guide the financial institution to make that correct decisions. So what we're seeing is within analytics is nothing new to the fraud industry. It's been around many years, but what we're having to do is really look at the different types of data and the different types of lines of businesses that are now available in order to help us do that real-time decisioning. So in terms of analytics, it's really about developing new methodologies, looking at different data values, looking externally, just not on the transaction, but at the customer demographics, look at the environment a lot into which the transaction is actually being conducted. And I think if you pull all those data elements together, if you look at it holistically from only a transaction, but a customer, the environment into which it's done, and analytics really helps you do that. It understands and can consume hundreds of data values in order to make the real-time decision in less than a few milliseconds. And so what we're seeing is really an interest in building these analytical models, different methodologies about analytical models, and really trying to understand from both the transaction perspective of whether it's fraud or risky. And I think bringing all that information together, understanding and being confident, I think really is the key word in order to make a real-time decision using analytics. I think that's what banks are striving for, and this is really the challenge of many service providers, is to basically come up with new models, new analyticals, methodologies in order they can basically predict fraud not only faster but more of fraud. So it's all about reducing false positive and an acceptable account or detection value percentage rate.
With anti-money laundering, fraud, KYC, other related areas, financial crime prevention, there's a lot of pressures on banks to meet regulatory requirements and best practice. Do you think there is much commonality in approaches where they could take an enterprise-wide approach to this compliance?
Oh, absolutely, yes, and I think that's going to be the key in what we're hearing in the industry and financial institution is there is this need to develop an enterprise platform. Now, typically when we talk about enterprise platform, it's really looking at the fraud side and looking at the different lines of businesses from a fraud side. But what we're seeing really is a need to amalgamate the fraud industry, and that includes card transactions or wire transactions, but also include AML transactions. And we really do see a huge benefit by combining into a single platform both an AML solution and a fraud solution. And that really will help us understand KYC, from a customer perspective. I think this is what the auditors are looking for. And again, it's all about the due diligence, it's about knowing your customer, it's about making the right decision at the right time with real-time and analytics. And obviously, the enterprise platform will enable the cross-sharing of data, the ability by different teams within an organization to leverage, the results of other groups within the organization. And really, I think technology has to provide that, because ultimately I think that's where the industry is going, a true enterprise platform.
Mannie, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching.